The war in China was not just fought against the Japanese, but also against each other. After Japan's defeat, the Civil War would start again. Who were the main participants in this war? How did they fight and how did they feel about each other? Before we get into the fighting, let's talk about the two main participants. The main participants were the KMT, or the Chinese Nationalist Party, which was led by Chiang Kai-shek, and the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, which was led by Mao Zedong. These two groups had been fighting each other for quite some time. They had a temporary truce during the Second Sino-Japanese War, but as soon as Japan was defeated, the Civil War started again. Why did they keep fighting each other? Well, they had very different views on how to run the country. The KMT wanted to establish a one-party state with Chiang Kai-shek as the leader, while the CCP wanted to create a communist state with Mao Zedong at the helm. Additionally, the KMT was mostly supported by the wealthy landowners, and the CCP had the support of the peasants. This made it difficult for them to work together since they had different interests and goals. How did this fighting affect the war against the Japanese? It made it harder for the Chinese to fight the Japanese. They were under-equipped and oftentimes the supplies would go to the wrong side. For example, the Soviet Union was supplying the CCP with weapons and ammunition, while the United States was giving aid to the KMT. This meant that both sides were getting supplies, but neither side had enough to win the war. In addition to the lack of supplies, the Civil War also caused political instability. This made it hard for the Chinese to focus on the war effort since they were constantly fighting each other. As the war dragged on, the Chinese people became more and more desperate. They had lost millions of soldiers and the war seemed to be unwinnable. Eventually, the CCP would win the war and establish a communist state in 1949. So why should you care about this war? Well, it was one of the most important events of the 20th century. It led to the rise of communism in China and the end of the Qing dynasty. It also had a major impact on the Cold War since it created a communist power that was hostile to the United States. If you want to learn more about this war, stay tuned for more videos.